are you? How are we? Welcome to Tiph-Critiqués. I'm Tiff. So happy to have you here. Welcome back to all of my subs, cousins, supporters. If you're new here for the first time, thank you for being here. Please consider becoming a part of the family. If you are part of the family, please come in, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Share like a Care Bear. And today we are going to go over the ballot or the bullet. Let me check because I'm recording by myself. I just want to make sure you're going to hear echo. Okay, here we go. I want to make sure that I had good audio. But we are going to cover the ballot or the bullet. It has been a very interesting time during the politics season. We have seen some out of the ordinary, unusual type of foolery going on. I feel a way about a lot of it. I am trying to not be overly emotional. I'm frustrated. I think a lot of Black people are frustrated if you are, and if you believe in like the political process, you understand that we are in abnormal times. I'm also highly frustrated. And when we go and we'll see where Malcolm X talked about the ballot or the bullet, I'm watching political commentary, and I think part of my concern is I see a lot of people attempting to say that because there's no normalcy, we should, at this point, not participate in the political process. And what I will say is we do know that even Black revolutionaries believed in voting. The Black Panthers produced and talked about voting. We're going to see what Malcolm X or El Malik Shabazz talked about voting. And then, of course, we have our civil rights heroes and sheroes like Fannie Lou Hamer, which maybe about a year or 2 years ago, I did a special on Fannie Lou. And I'll go through, again, some of the civil rights leaders. I feel like our ancestors and some of us still have grandparents and great grandparents that are still living that really fought hard for us to have a political voice. So to see it being whittled down is it's disturbing and it's depressing and it's enraging. I'm also at a point to where, when did we believe that these people were going to do the right thing because it was the right thing to do? I hate that we ever kind of bought into this theory that we could somehow attempt to make white people do the right thing. I'm beyond the point of trying to be politically correct just because at this point, these people are not showing any coup. They're not showing, and they're not doing the right thing. They are legitimately wrecking shop. They are being dangerous for Black people and dangerous for our rights. So we have to just be honest about where we are, what's going on, and how they're affecting us. Hi, how are you? Hey, Zero. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, you think I'm beautiful? Thank you. I think I'm cute today. I'm a little cute today. I'm showing a little cleavage. I know my little big brother is gonna be like, cover it up. So let me just make sure. But I'm wearing a cute little ditty. Let me see if I can show a little outfit from the husbands. Ain't it cute though? Look at that. Look at the top of that. That's cute, right? Okay, so now that we've shown the outfit, we got our makeup on, we got a little hair did. We've started off, so I'm going to show you just some different things. We're going to start off with Keith Boykin, and he talked about the ballot and the bullet. Not hey now. Y'all are silly. Let me cue it up. We're going to just go through some clips, talk about it a little bit. What made me bring this on, and I'm going to further show. I've seen a lot of people that are political commentators that I feel like are leading people astray, particularly Black people. What I want us to do is to grow up, and we've got to mature really fast with our politics. because the gang shit, the Democrats, the Republicans, neither one of these parties are for us. And the sooner we understand that and really just kind of come out of this foolishness, we got to come out of it. Let me see what Zero's saying. White people ain't finna do the right thing. Our ancestors had to force them to the point where they had no choice to do what we wanted. And that, I think that's absolutely true. I think somewhere along the lines we believed, and I will say we being, my mother integrated her school. My mother's from the Midwest. Where I went to school, and I'm from East Texas, my mother believed that moving to a different side of town and being around the others, like the best thing was to be in a good school district. And hey, next level, she felt like she was helping me. When I went to the elementary that I went to, there were 6 Black kids there. So did I integrate it? No, but definitely did not have a lot of Black people there. I have, for the majority of my professional life and even in my schooling, the high school that I went to was 6% Black. So I've always been very familiar with being around white people and having a level of access to them and understanding that when you're younger, like everybody went outside and played together. Everybody did everything together. We grew up together. And the transition was really about when we got to about high school, junior high, where you started seeing things like where I went to high school, every year somebody spray painted the word nigger, either on the locker room, on, oh, hey, shout out East Texas. Yes. So you said Lufkin. I'm from Smith County. So I'm from Tyler, Texas. And when I say I'm from the country, like one of the high schools is literally Robert E. Lee. And that would have been the high school had I stayed in East Texas. That would have been my high school. That it's predominantly white. I grew up in a suburb of Dallas. And again, high concentration of white people. Black people being about, I think, 6%. I think we may have had 3% of like Asians and like 2% others. So it's just a white high school. I was in marching band. I did all of the things. I was in all district choir. As a profession, like I did corporate America. When I was in leadership, I was one of 2 Black women in leadership, transitioned into doing wellness in yoga. And I think I might have been one of the only Black yoga teachers in Dallas for years. And there's still, that's not a high probability of them. What Zero's saying, I don't either partially trust. Yeah, I don't trust either party. I am at a point to where it's twofold. I definitely believe that we are in this position because Black people have voted so heavily for Democrats. But I also believe that Black people voted for Democrats because the Republicans were not giving Black people any opportunity. Okay, come on, see Augustine and Kellyville. Yes. So if you're from East Texas, then you are very familiar. Like we still have sundown towns. You know, there are certain areas that you don't need to get caught after dark. I really feel like the connection that specifically, I would say people in Texas that we have with white people is very different. And because I've now been introduced to Black people that are up north, and when I'm saying like East Coast Black folks, their connectivity to other nationalities is completely different. I was an adult when I met my first Jamaican friend. We don't have that same saturation. And I think that folks up north had believed that the white people that they were dealing with were better. And in the words of Chris Rock, like racism is not ours to fix. Until we get a better crop of white people, it's just not going to get better. And I want Black folks to really be honest with themselves. We'd love to say that, you know, we're our ancestors. Okay, well, these are their ancestors. These people, what is it, alligator, alligators, like they were eating us and stuffing. Like we are not honest with the horrific things that we saw and experienced in slavery. I think we thought, hey, we've integrated, things are getting better. We can live in the same neighborhoods. We can go to the same schools, not understanding the backlash from Obama has been very severe. And the reason like I said, I want us to look at this, the ballot or the bullet, because our good brother Malcolm told us a long time ago, I'm going to share this. The person that I'm sharing right now, this is Keith Boykin. He is a very studied, well-respected, and he's going to kind of break down some of the points. So we'll go with him first. Put a 1 and let me know if you can hear.
Looks like it might be the year of the ballot or the bullet.
That was Malcolm X 60 years ago. But sadly, we could say the same thing about 2026.
It'll be the ballot or it'll be the bullet. It'll be liberty or it'll be death. And if you're not ready to pay that price, don't use the word freedom in your vocabulary.
It was April of 1964, and Malcolm had grown tired of Democrats and Republicans giving lip service to civil rights, but not passing any laws to protect Black people.
And understand this, that the ballot is as powerful as the bullet.
His ballot or bullet speech was a call to action and a threat to white America. Either Black people will have the right to vote or white people will see an armed revolution. Yet today, even as the former Confederate states are ripping away Black voting power all across the South, there are voices out here telling Black people that voting doesn't matter. Malcolm knew better.
We must know what part politics play in our lives. And until we become politically mature, we will always be misled, led astray, or deceived or maneuvered.
You see, Malcolm understood exactly why the Black vote was powerful.
The whites are so evenly divided that every time they vote, the race is so close, they have to go back and count the votes all over again. And this which means that any block, any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it.
Malcolm was a Black revolutionary, but some Black people today have twisted his legacy to think that just because he was a Black nationalist who carried a gun meant that he wanted us to focus only on self-defense, community development, or spirituality. That's not what he said.
And I don't believe in fighting today in any one front, but on all fronts.
Malcolm believed in using all our weapons, including the right to vote. That's why he urged Black people to recognize the political power we have at our fingertips. All across the South, Republicans are passing a flurry of new laws to erase Black voting power. It's the same Southern states that tried to block our civil rights in Malcolm's time.
The main senators that were involved in the filibuster were from the states where there were the most Negroes. Why were they filibustering the civil rights legislation? And those senators don't know that the Negroes of those states can vote. Those senators are down the drain.
He's right. Mississippi, 38% Black. Louisiana, 33% Black. Georgia, 33% Black. Tennessee, 16% Black. That's not including the 7 million Black people who live in Texas or Florida. The same Southern states that are rushing to take away Black voting power, the states where most Black people live. More than half of Black people in America live in the South, and Republicans know that if enough Black people in the South rise up and vote, they'll be out of power. So they use voter suppression to stop us from voting and gerrymandering.
Can you hear it now? Or give me a little or if you don't. Okay, is the audio still distorted or is it better? Let me refresh it and we'll come back. It's, and like I said, Keith Boykin, he's got a phenomenal, it's not my main channel.
One of the reasons that it is bad for us to continue to just refer to ourselves as so-called Negro, that's negative. When we say so-called Negro, that's pointing out what we aren't, but it isn't telling us what we are. We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us. We were brought here against our will. We were not brought here to be made citizens. We were not brought here to enjoy the constitutional gifts that they speak so beautifully about today. And because we weren't brought here to be made citizens today, now that we've become awakened to some degree and we begin to ask for those things which they say are supposedly for Americans, they look upon us with hostility and unfriendliness. So our unwanted presence, the fact that we are unwanted, is becoming magnified in all of America's preachments today. In the United Nations, you have poor nations and rich nations. They say that the most powerful bloc in the UN are the African Asian bloc. These are the poor nations. Yet they carry more weight in this political body than the nations do who have all the money. Why? Because no matter how wealthy America is, she only has one vote. No matter how wealthy Russia is, she only has one vote. Whereas all the poor nations in Africa who have just emerged into independence, they have each a vote too. And they stick together and are able to outmaneuver the rich nations. This is by having independence and the right to vote in the political world body, it has enabled the dark nations to band together and use the strength of their ballot to force the wealthy nations, which are the white nations, into giving more independence to other nations who are still under their jurisdiction. You and I have to look at this and understand this, that the ballot is as powerful as the bullet. Now, if you and I leave it up to the moderate Negro leaders, they'll be able to trick it up and make the world think that they passed something that doesn't really mean anything. So what you and I have got to do is get involved. You and I have to be right there breathing down their throat. Every time they look over their shoulder, we want them to see us. We want to make them pass the strongest civil rights bill they've ever passed. Because we know even after they pass it, they can't enforce it. In order to do this, we're starting a voters registration drive. We have to get everybody in Harlem registered, not as Democrats or Republicans, but registered as independents. We're going to organize a corps of brothers and sisters who, after the city is mapped out, they won't leave one apartment house door not knocked on. There won't be a door in Harlem that will not have been knocked on to see that whatever black face lives behind that door is registered to vote by a certain time this year. Nobody will have an excuse not to be registered. We'll ask him, let us see your card. If you don't have the sense of responsibility to get registered, we'll move you out of town. It's going to be the ballot or the bullet. After we get our people registered, we can then organize that voting strength and channel it in the direction that will get immediate results for the benefit of our people. We can sweep our enemies right out of office, but we will not be able to do it sitting around talking about select and elect your own candidates.
Hey y'all, I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone, and in this video,
Are we back? And is the audio better? Give me a 1 if the audio is better and you can hear me. The reason that I wanted us to see the ballot and the bullet, that is from 1964. And he is essentially telling us, one, we should have never, ever been a part of any political party. My level of frustration and why I want us to look at the ballot or the bullet is he gave us some truisms in the sense of this midterms, we have to show up in such a way. And I'm not telling you which way to vote. I will say this much. I do believe that the decision that came from the Supreme Court is absolutely devastating. I think it was also necessary for a couple of reasons. I think it was necessary because we needed to understand that these people are not playing with us. Just like we are our ancestors, they are theirs. The monicum of the South will rise again. They wanted to rise again. And a lot of us have been asleep at the wheel. You notice he said no political party. The other thing that he talked about is stressing that everybody that can vote should vote. You need to know what's going on, specifically from a very local level, because I don't like when people say, oh, I'm not political. You're either political or politics will do you. Your school board is done by politics. The roads are done by politics. Your taxes, all of those are political decisions. And here's the thing. You are an American taxpayer. That means you need to participate in the system. You have to. Too many people died and too much has happened. Now, what I also understand is the whites, they're very aware of what is going on is absolutely abnormal. I'm going to share what Chris Hayes had to say, and we will go and just kind of take some of the information in. Let's see what Chris is saying.
Now, the most dramatic thing that a judge or judges can do in a democracy is to just throw out the results of an election. That's as serious as it gets, right? It's essentially unheard of outside of really rare cases of fraud, right? Otherwise, you don't get to just throw out an election. I mean, the idea of one person or a small handful of people setting aside the will of the citizens, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of citizens, that's pretty alien to our democratic traditions. It just doesn't happen that much. That is what happened in the Commonwealth of Virginia today. Shockingly, appallingly, really. The Supreme Court of that state ruled 4-3 to strike down the congressional redistricting plan that, crucially, had been approved by the state voters in a special election last month, as we covered here at this desk, with millions of people campaigning or showing up at the polls. It won 52 to 48%. Again, weeks of campaigning, millions of dollars spent on ads by both sides, a vigorous public debate, and the people came out, 3 million, to the polls in that Virginia referendum, and a majority of the people said, yes, we want these new maps. And today, a panel of judges, by the narrowest of margins, 4-3, tossed that result out because they say have a technical issue with how that referendum got on the ballot, their interpretation of one word in a state statute. They didn't just block the new congressional map, they vetoed the election. And in so doing, they have also sent the American political system in toto barreling back towards Jim Crow disenfranchisement. As we've been covering closely on the show, as you know that have been following, they have handed Republicans now a huge victory in the race to the bottom gerrymandering arms race that Trump started to stay in power. Now, the most dramatic thing that a judge or judges can do.
And notice what he said, a race to the bottom. They're very aware. They are highly aware of what is going on. They are highly aware of how unusual this is. I also want you to see one more person, Reese, because we're not going to be here long. Last week we did, what was the Supreme Court go back like? It's a kid's book. If you are unaware of what politics are, if you're not very familiar, and it's going to sound a bit amateur, go and watch Scandal. The show Scandal is so accurate in the sense of how DC works, how things are done in the background, and how systems are being played with. Get familiar with that. Get you a constitution. Stay on YouTube University. You need to be boning up and preparing for midterms from now until forever. You need to get with all of your friends and family. You should be stressing that people go and vote. If this goes in the way of what they believe, I believe that Reese, who we're going to watch next, she's giving a very accurate solution and what we need to do next. Next steps. She cusses a lot, which I don't really care. It doesn't bother me, but I think that she's got some great solutions. So we're going to listen to Reese Colbert.
These demonic Republican fucks have gone full fascist, waking up today, deciding today's a good day to fuck with the blacks and eliminate black majority districts and representation in Congress. And instead of being the 50th person to tell you what they're trying to do, let me tell you what we finna do. Plan A, vote these motherfuckers out. Now, a lot of these Republican governors think they fucking slick because they're term limited anyway, but guess what? Marsha Blackburn, down there in Tennessee, bitch, cancel her ass. She gonna be out of the goddamn Senate, and let's make sure her ass is not in the governor's mansion either. In Alabama, that old ass hack bitch Kay Ivey is term limited as well. But guess what? Tommy Tuberville on his big goofy country ass. Make sure that he's also out of a job in the Senate and out of a job in the governor's office. I don't give a fuck if Freddy Krueger is running in these states, bitch. The Democrats have to win in 2026 to spank these motherfucking Republicans and let them know that they can't play in our faces, that they cannot pull our punk cards. Also, these districts are being gerrymandered with the assumption of a certain level of turnout. And so what we got to do is we got to vote to get them out of cheating distance. They are expecting a certain margin, but each of these districts has approximately 700,000 motherfuckers up in it. And I don't be seeing but 300,000 votes. So that's what? A couple 100,000 of you motherfuckers that's not voting in these elections. Now, the blacks. Some of these states, the racial gap turnout is higher than they ever been in 2024. We got to change that, okay? So what I need y'all black motherfuckers to do is I need you to fucking vote. I need you to get your cousins to vote. And I need you to adopt a woke white and get their motherfucking asses out to vote. Because if we can get a woke white off the couch into the booth, then we can flip some of these goddamn Republican gerrymandered districts that they think is insane. That's plan motherfucking A. Now, plan B. If these motherfuckers do succeed in gerrymandering these districts so bad that you cannot vote a Democrat in, no matter how hard you and Pookie and your cousins them tried, and adopting a woke white didn't work, then give these motherfuckers hell. See, the thing about it is, a lot of these Republicans don't have to deal with the blacks because the blacks are packed into one little district. But guess what? If you have the blacks cracked, then that's more motherfuckers that got to see our faces. So make sure if these motherfuckers do get elected that you give them hell. I want y'all asses blowing up their phone numbers when they're in Congress. I want you at their town halls. I want you to be utilizing their services. And I want you to be putting in requests for your organizations and your things that you believe need funding. Do not let your fucking foot up off of them, because if they get elected, they still have a motherfucking job to do. And as your elected officials, you need to hold them accountable as they're in office. If they think it's going to be a cakewalk because they have just a handful of blacks in their districts, no, they got another motherfucking thing coming.
That is where I am. If they're going to pack these courts, if they're going to try to cheat, they are guaranteeing, they're almost counting, and the projections of the numbers of what they're doing is essentially, I believe, is going to blow up in their face. The gerrymandering is going to happen to where in Texas, they redistrict where Jasmine Crockett was, which is why she didn't run again. Not only did they redistrict where Jasmine was, but it opened up 10 spots. So areas that were firmly Republican, if enough people show up, we now can flip districts. I know that we feel like we don't have political power. The best thing that they did is they freed us, so we are now true swing voters. They are no longer going to be able to just determine and count on the black vote. Now, what you are going to see is like the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, they're going to have to show up in a way that they've not showed up for black people in quite some time. Because if I'm going to be completely honest, there is no reason why we are in this position, because had they fixed this shit in 2013, when they took the first part of the Voters' Rights Act down, we shouldn't be here. They had from 2013 to 2026, and at least from 2013 to 2024, to firmly secure the voters' rights. I believe that these folks thought that they could always dangle black people and black votes. I am going to say this, and I hope that you adopt this. Black people should be uncommitted, and we should have transactional voting, meaning we do not commit to a party, and the only way that you get a vote from us is it is tangible and transactional, and you need to have a black agenda. You need to be talking about the economy. You need to talk about education. You need to talk about wealth building. You need to have something firmly to have people show up. The whole, I'm not him, that's not going to work. Last week we looked at the DNC, and I'm telling you right now, the people that believe that the Democratic Party is going to be the party to stand up for black people, they haven't done it since at best 2013. They knew when Obama got in that office and they struck down part 5 of the Voters' Rights Act, that needed to be addressed then. So I want to know from Obama to Biden, what the hell happened? And if you are a part of the Congressional Black Caucus and now you are fighting to save your seat, you are going to have to say what you put up, where you tried to fight, and why did it take this long? Because what you have been doing is you have been trying to woo the whites who are never going to vote for you. White people have not voted for the Democratic Party since not JFK. Who signed the bill? It is, oh God. Somebody put it in the comments. And Ed, I'm going to fight you. This is not a wig, sir. This is my hair. Go to hell. Who signed in the voters' rights law? The VAR was signed in by somebody. Drop it down for me in the comments, please. Since the voters' rights passed, They've not voted Democrat. White people have squarely voted for Republicans. And these these white supremacist whites, the Heritage American Foundation, these people have been plotting this for a very long time. And I need for Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer's, all of you people that are in leadership right now, you need to be screaming from the fucking mountaintops that you are not going to allow our rights to be dissolved. And then you spicy whites, you righteous whites, just like y'all be trying to get into the street every 3 or 4 months for these No Kings protests. If you can protest for immigrants, then I need to see your white asses protesting for black folks. If there's no reason in the world where there's not some type of major march, and black people should not have to be in the streets. It is your people that's doing this. These are your grandmothers. These are your cousins. These are your aunts, your uncles. These are some of the people that you are married and sleeping with. You don't get to say you got black friends. You do not to continue to consume black culture. You love the music. You love the food. You quote unquote love the people. But now that our rights are under attack, if you want to sit down by the wayside, do not come to me talking about class economics. Oh, it's classism. It's not racism. This is all about racism. It is always about race. This has nothing to do with black people doing better outside of the fact that white people can be racist. And you've allowed and harbored racists. The South rose again under you people, under you good whites. So you good whites need to get out in the street, hit that pavement, and get to showing, because I can tell you this much. We know what it looks like when you're angry. I don't want to hear the soft, this is not good and this is so wrong. I want some January 6th type action about my rights. I want to see you out there acting a plumb fool. And if you don't, I'm going to clump you in with everybody else. I'm going to believe that you're racist. I'm going to believe that you don't care about black people and black voting and black liberation. You're going to get clumped in. And we are taking notes and we are seeing who is silent, who is talking, who is complicit, and who is not. So with that, black folks, get registered. Everybody in your house that can vote needs to be registered. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You need to know what is coming up. You need to understand locally who's on the ballot, who's running for state, and then federally, you need to start holding people accountable. We can no longer just believe that by the graciousness of white people that our rights are protected. They are showing that they do not care. And if I don't see in large mass white folks acting a fool because we are being attacked, I'm telling you right now, we are going to be looking at you white people awfully crazy. Because if you can get up and march for the immigrants, you damn sure need to be marching for American citizens. Foundational Black Americans, ADOS, Sulan, however you want to address yourself. Our forefathers, our grandparents, our ancestors did far too much for us to have particular rights. And if you are a WEI, a white, entitled, incompetent person, you need to get out of your ego, amigo. Go and be great. All of this we've done, backflips, all kind of things to try to show that we can be good black people and we're just going to follow the rule of the law. We're tired. We see you. And we're going to hold people accountable. So you can attempt to cheat. It ain't going to work out well. With that being said, thank y'all so much for being here. Please comment, share, subscribe. Please continue to come. Please stay politically activated. Please understand the ballot or the bullet is real. If you live in an area where you can have a weapon, I'm going to suggest and plead to you to go and spend some time at the gun range. And I'm talking about from you, your wife, your children, and everybody else. You need to learn how to defend yourself because these people are going to be ready. And we need to be ready. The only way the South will rise again is because the black people, where the majority of us live, are holding these United States accountable to the Constitution that we vote on, that we participate in, and we pay taxes to. The no taxation without representation is for Black Americans as well. It is for foundational Black Americans. It is for ADOS. It is for Sulan. It is for quote unquote Black people. you Latinos, you Asians, all of you other people that have benefited from the work that our ancestors did, it's time for your ass to get activated too. Because if you think they're going to come for us and not come for you, you're a dummy. White women, you're next, sis. Get active. They will start with us, but you will be next. They think it's very easy. It's going to go blacks, Latinos, Asians, and white women. And by the time they get done with us, they will have perfected and slow walked your ass to sleep. So if you feel like it's just the black people, oh, it's just going to be them, oh, it's not affecting me. All right. And the very people that will know how to fight this system, and we will have all kind of workarounds, we're going to sit back and watch you lose all of your rights. And when you come knocking at the door, no habla español. No speaking Spanish. No, you cannot. Hurry up and buy. The women, all these allyships, dead in the water. So either you finna be a really good ally real quick, or when it go down, because black folks know how to survive. We will figure it out. You don't. We've worked around whiteness for a very long time. We've worked around it so long that they are really trying to slow walk and bring things back. And what you don't get is we're not going back. I'll be damned if I get in the field. I'll burn this bitch down. And I know I'm not the only one. And by the time it gets to burn it and it's time to pick a side, you're going to be screwed and I'm going to be cool. And y'all all going to be looking who and the who in the hell let the gate open. That's where we're going to be at. You're not going to gain entry. We're not going to partner with you. We're not going to help you because we're going to see who helped, who stood up, who marched, and who was a real, true ally. We're not claiming this BIPOC, these people of color. Get your non-white ass out. And here's the thing. If you're not white, male, Christian, and rich, bitch, you're up. You're up. You're up. You're next in line, beloved. You are next in line. So figure out, get real quick. Get cute real quick. The midterms are coming and I'm watching, and I know my fellow brothers and sisters are watching. Get right or get gone. And with that, have a good one, friends, family, cousins. Have a wonderful weekend. I might see some of y'all tonight by my brother Hemp. All of y'all that came from This Might Be Risky for showing support. Thank y'all so much as we grow this channel. My goal is to get us politically activated, keeping the information, making sure that we know what we need to do, because that is my charge, and I will make sure that we have what we need. We also have to hold these allies accountable. But again, This Might Be Risky family, thank you so much for being here. My husband, thank you for being here and being so supportive. All of my other friends, family, anybody that swung by, if you found this video by happenstance and you just want to see somebody that I love politics, I love people, and I want the best. I want the best for black folks. But here's the thing. If we win, everybody wins. Statistically, it shows. And black people, these people would not be fighting for you not to be able to vote if it didn't impact not only this nation, but the world. Our liberation story has freed the Americas, and it has freed nations far and few between. We are the tastemakers. We are the soul of this country, and we ain't going back. Go be kind to a black woman, man, or child. Go be kind to another human being, but most importantly, be kind to yourself.